to be honest, I don't think there's too many other ways of looking good other than owning a Brough, but these are fantastic looking motorcycles. Brough ownership is about refinement. It's a gentleman's civilised motorcycle.
I was visiting the Paris Retromobile show in Paris, which is one of the world's great classic car shows, and Brough Superior are there on display. And I just was so excited to see them there. So I went and talked to and he offered me, he struck my imagination. He said, would you like to import these into Australia? Because I was going to buy one. And I thought, yes, I could do that.
These two bikes here are SS100s, of which they're only building 300 units total. There is no plans at the moment for a second version, so that makes them very limited collector's items. These are Euro 3, these are the first series. Now this is Euro 4, this is one of only one in the world. This is a 100-year anniversary, which was last year. They're now into the 101st year. So this bike essentially is the same as the Euro 3s, but it has ABS, it has a few more refinements, etc. And this one comes in the beautiful white finish, which, as I say, they did as a one-off for the Paris show, and I think it looks fantastic. I think all the bikes look fantastic. The Pendine Sand Racer was a non-limited edition model. They'll make only small numbers of those again, but they run out at around 105,000 Australian dollars. With the Pendine Sand Racer, that harks back to the 1926 event where George Brough himself actually rode on Pendine Sand in Wales and created a new land speed record, as well as winning some other races on the day. We've got another one here in red, Candy Upper Red, which is one of only one in the world. We designed that here in Australia. The factory's built it for us. Again, this is all Euro 4 with the new conical exhausts. This bike here, certainly the rarest bike that we have at the moment. It's called the Anniversary. Again, it's the anniversary of the 100th year of building. One of only 100 in the world. Very high-end componentry, fantastic performance. It's a 997 87-degree V-twin. There is turbo versions as well, and they will be out next year, but currently it's just normally aspirated. The turbo version, we've got photos of it. It's built by Aston Martin, or designed by Aston Martin. It'll be built at the Boxer factory. Again, only 100 of those planned. So as you can see, Brough is a very limited run, limited production motorcycle. And that is some of the attraction. People like to be different in the motorcycle world. People like to have something that other people don't have. They want to turn up in a car park at the lights or in their garage to be able to show off something of their own personality, something that says who they are. Brough isn't for everybody, but if it's Brough's for you, certainly this is a bike that would only impress, and I genuinely believe it's got a timeless line, a timeless design about it, that even in 5 years, 10 years, 100 years, this will still be an interesting looking motorcycle.
Dale, you wanted me to ride this one first?
On the Euro 4, just with the ABS, only one cap works, the other's a dummy. On that, they're both real.
Intrigued is this is a very mild way of putting it. I am fascinated. I've always been fascinated by the brand anyway, because there's so much individual history. It's never been a motorcycle that is just invented and made and built to be sold. It's been an expression of George Brough's personality in just about every way. The success of the brand in the first place was due entirely to the way George made the thing seem to the public, the way he individualised the bikes, the way when someone, a journalist, called them the Rolls-Royce of motorcycles, Rolls-Royce didn't like the idea very much, and they sent someone to the factory to have a look at what was going on. And George dressed all of his workers in white lab coats and white gloves while they were assembling the bikes, and made everything super clean and tidy. And Rolls-Royce, the Rolls-Royce engineer, was so impressed that he went back to the board and said, look, let them keep the phrase. They deserve it.
There's only a percentage of the market, of the Australian market, who will want to invest in a Brough. The factory informs me that 60% of Brough buyers, the current Brough buyers, are collectors. So it's something that I've got them in my office, but it's something I can see somebody who appreciates mechanical things and seeing the motorcycle can have it in their home or their office, their foyer. It's more than just something to ride, which has got some innovative features and great to ride. It's something that you can look at it every day.
It isn't meant to be the ultimate sports bike. It's not about even the ultimate riding bike, but you make a statement when you arrive.
The association with not just wealthy people, but with people who are high public figures, well-known public figures, did the bikes an enormous amount of good. Having Lawrence of Arabia riding the bikes, and in fact having two of them made to suit him. He was quite short, and in fact one of them even had a scabbard for his swagger stick for when he was being Colonel Lawrence.
Brough in France had a lot of inquiries from Australia. There was a lot of wealthy people in Australia that were looking to buy something a little different for their motorcycle collections or the man cave, or even as their daily ride.
Australia is what I would call a very sophisticated market. We have the best of everything in such a small population, so we have a huge choice. And to me, one of the attractions of the Brough brand, because they're basically handmade, hand assembled, they can be basically produced to order. And one thing I was fascinated by when I was at the factory, that a particular Pendine Sam was done up in the same colour scheme as a guy's 356 Porsche, which is one of the first Porsche sports cars. And I see that as another, I suppose, something that Brough can offer is for people who want a bike to match their car colour or some other colour. So, we have our stock models, but I think our strength will be in bikes developed for our Australian collectors and owners.
Brough Superior was started in 1919 by George Brough. It was a UK brand, now made by a fantastic motorcycle factory in Toulouse in France called Boxer. They've also got a fantastic history that goes back quite some time. They've built some very innovative motorcycles over the years. Its
appeal to me is that the French have taken a great British brand, Brough Superior, and used the bikes from the 30s as a styling cue for their SS100, and that's the bike that appeals to me from a cosmetic point of view, and it's really for people who appreciate. Like I've always loved, like a Ducati 916. I've always liked motorbikes that you can see.
With the current Brough that's been started in 2013, the idea was to have a very limited bespoke run of motorcycles that were reminiscent of the older bikes, of which only 3,048 were made over a very short span of time. They finished in 1940 when the war, as you'd probably guess, called production to an end. So they restarted in 2013. The new bikes started rolling off the floor in 2014.
To me, motorcycles are about the mechanical aspects. To me, it's about seeing the engine and the components. It's like a form of jewellery to me, or an art piece. So I'm a mechanically minded person, and I've been involved in bikes since I was 15, riding on the street since I was 17, and I was a motorcycle dealer for 15 years. So, and I'm a fitter and turner by trade. So I have an appreciation of mechanical things, and I just enjoy looking at how things work.